Today, I am going to explain the sexy horror movie called Basic Instinct. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. The film begins in San Francisco, where a homicide detective named Nick arrives at a crime scene, where a man was murdered last night. The man was a retired rock star named Johnny Boss, who has been stabbed to death with an ice pick. The boss tells Nick to go to Johnny's girlfriend's house to find anything related to the case. So Nick and his partner go to talk to Catherine, Johnny's girlfriend. There they meet Roxy, Catherine's friend. She tells them to go to the beach house, where Catherine is now. At the beach house, Nick asks Catherine about her relationship with Johnny, to which Catherine replies that they were not in a relationship, but were more like friends with benefits. She further says that she went to a club with Johnny last night, had some drinks, and then they parted ways, after which she came to the beach house. After getting her statement, Nick goes to meet Dr. Beth, a psychologist of the police force, for his counseling session. During an undercover assignment, Nick accidentally shot 2 tourists while high on cocaine. So he is ordered by his superiors to see Beth regularly. He tells Beth that he is not feeling himself lately and wants to romance her. It turns out that both Nick and Beth have an on and off affair. After the session, Nick joins the other officers and tries to solve the murder mystery of Johnny Boss. They learn that Catherine is the sole heir to $110 million, and she also has a degree in psychology and literature. Recently, she has written a novel, which is also about a retired rock star who gets murdered by his girlfriend. Later that night, Nick reads her novel and finds many similarities between her story and Johnny's murder case, like both get killed with an ice pick while being tied to the bed with a white scarf. The next morning, Nick and the other officers come up with 2 possibilities. 1. Catherine is a psychopath killer who killed Johnny after writing her book to use it as her alibi. 2. Someone else read Catherine's book and is trying to frame her for the murder. So the officers decide to call Catherine for interrogation to find out more about her. So Nick goes to pick Catherine up from her house. There he finds some old newspaper about his old civilian shooting case. On their way, Catherine reveals that she is working on a new book, which is about a detective who falls for the wrong woman. When Nick asks her what happens to the detective, Catherine replies that she kills him. During the interrogation, Catherine taunts the officers by smoking in front of them. She openly says that she liked romancing Johnny and had a physical affair with him for a year and a half. When the officers ask her if she killed Johnny, Catherine denies the accusation, saying that she would be a fool to kill someone the same way she has written in her book. She then moves her feet and exposes herself to seduce the officers. Everyone is stunned by the sight but chooses their profession over desire. They then continue interrogating Catherine, but couldn't find anything against her. Catherine even insists on taking the lie detector test to prove her innocence, which she easily passes. The officers conclude that Catherine is innocent, but Nick thinks otherwise, as he believes that she is way too smart to trick the machine. Later, Nick joins his partner and captain at a bar. Nick is still confident that Catherine has tricked the lie detector test, but the officers don't believe him. Just then, Beth also comes there. Nick then goes with her to Beth's apartment and the 2 get busy. Once they are done, Beth reveals that she knows Catherine, as they were in some of the same classes. The next day, Nick goes to his office and learns from one of his colleagues that there was a murder in Berkeley in the 80s. A professor was killed in his bed after being stabbed multiple times with an ice pick. At that time, Catherine was studying at a university in Berkeley. So the captain decides to investigate more about Catherine and tells the officers to find anything related to her. Nick's job is to spy on Catherine and see what she does all day. He follows her to a house, which belongs to a woman named Hazel. After waiting all day for Catherine, he sees her coming out with an old woman, who apparently is Hazel. Later, Nick tries to find out more about Hazel and learns that she was once arrested for homicide. His partner recognizes Hazel and reveals that she killed her husband and their 3 kids with a knife. The next day, Nick goes to talk to Catherine, as he is getting more suspicious about her. There he sees various newspaper articles about him on the table. Catherine reveals that she is using him as her detective in the book. When Nick asks her about Professor Goldstein and Hazel, Catherine says that Professor Goldstein was just her counselor. As for Hazel, she is helping her understand the homicidal impulse. She then tries to seduce Nick, but Nick is a man of honor and rejects her. Sometime later, Roxy also comes there and kisses Catherine right before Nick. Later, Nick barges into Nielsen's office in internal affairs and attacks him after learning that he sold Nick's psychiatric file to Catherine. Catherine knows everything about him, his wife's death, his smoking habit, everything. Later that night, Nick gets a call from his partner, who tells him to come to a crime scene. When Nick arrives at the crime scene, he learns that Nielsen has been shot dead. Nick has now become the suspect in Nielsen's murder, as he earlier assaulted him. He is even put on leave until his behavior improves. After being interrogated, Nick returns home and finds Catherine waiting for him. He invites her to his house to have a drink with him. Catherine then gives him a book about a boy who kills his parents. Before leaving, she tells Nick that if he wants to meet her later, she will be at Johnny Boss's club. Nick instantly agrees to meet her, as he wants to uncover the truth behind the murders. Or maybe he has some other motive. Who knows? Later that night, he goes to the club, where he sees Catherine doing drugs with Roxy. Nick and Catherine then sensually dance together and they openly kiss. The two then head straight to a room and get aggressively romantic. Once they are done, Nick goes to the bathroom, where he sees Roxy. She threatens to kill him if he doesn't leave. But Nick isn't afraid of the threats and tells her to try. The next morning, Nick wakes up and finds a note left by Catherine, who asks him to meet her at the beach house. Later at the beach house, Catherine warns Nick that he should not play this game, but Nick wants to continue as he wants to catch the killer. Catherine also warns him that he will fall in love with her, but Nick says that he already has. Well, that was fast. Later that night, Nick goes to meet his partner, who also warns him not to play with fire, but Nick assures him that he will be fine. Listen to him, Nick. After he leaves, Roxy tries to run him over in Catherine's car. But Nick manages to get in his car in time. Roxy chases after him but ends up crashing the car and dies right away. Poor Roxy. She was jealous of Nick and wanted him to be out of Catherine's life. The next day, Nick is called for a psychiatric evaluation by Beth. But Nick gets angry at the questions and abruptly leaves. Beth goes after Nick and warns him about Catherine, saying that she is seducing and manipulating him, but Nick isn't in the mood to talk and leaves. He then goes to meet Catherine, who is grieving Roxy's death. She says that everybody she cares about dies. Nick tries to comfort her, as he doesn't think she is a suspect anymore. Later that night, Catherine tells Nick about a girl she met when she was in college. The girl became obsessed with her after they dated for a while. The next day, Nick learns that Roxy impulsively killed her two younger brothers when she was just 16 years old. Nick's partner is now convinced that Catherine has something to do with the murders, as all her friends and lovers are killers. But Nick, now madly in love with Catherine, believes that she is innocent. So he decides to find the girl who became obsessed with Catherine. It turns out that the girl is none other than Beth. When Nick confronts Beth, she accepts that she dated Catherine once. But soon after that, Catherine became obsessed with her. But Nick refuses to believe her side of the story, as poor Nick has already fallen for Catherine. Beth warns him again about Catherine, but he still refuses to listen to her. One day, Nick goes to meet Catherine and comes across the final pages of Catherine's book, in which the fictional detective finds his partner's body in an elevator. Just then, Catherine breaks off the affair, as her book is now complete, and coldly tells Nick to leave. Poor Nick is upset by the breakup, but he can't do anything about it now. Later, Nick's partner arranges a meeting with Catherine's college roommate, as they want to know what really went on between Catherine and Beth. Nick's partner goes to talk to the roommate, while Nick waits in the car. While waiting, Nick recalls the last pages from Catherine's book and quickly rushes to the building. But by the time he reaches the elevator, his partner has already died after being stabbed with an ice pick by the murderer. Shortly afterwards, Beth unexpectedly arrives there and explains that she received a message to meet Nick's partner. Nick suspects that Beth has murdered his partner, and believing that she is reaching for a gun, he panics and shoots her dead. But when he checks her body, he finds that Beth was only fiddling with an ornament on her keychain. When the police arrive at the scene, they find the ice pick that was used to murder Nick's partner, along with a jacket that belongs to the police department. Believing Beth is the killer, they check her apartment and find a revolver, some books written by Catherine, and several newspaper articles about Catherine. After looking at all the evidence, the officers conclude that Beth is the killer they have been looking for, who has killed Johnny, Nielsen, Nick's partner, and even her own husband. But Nick is now confused about the whole situation and doesn't know what to believe in anymore. So he returns to his apartment, where he finds Catherine waiting for him. She says that she tried not to love him, as everybody she loves dies, but she couldn't do so. The two then embrace each other and get romantic. Afterward, as the two discuss their future, an ice pick is revealed to be under the bed. Well, that's a surprise. Is it just a coincidence, or is Catherine really the mastermind behind all the murders? Thanks for watching. If you like our video, please subscribe to our channel.